How's it? Welcome into another episode of Loose Cannons. This is going to be the Carabao Cup review. Wasn't a great day yesterday. I dare say that last year, after the drubbing that we handed Manchester City at the Emirates, we were ready to crown Mikel Arteta no longer the pupil but the teacher. And I think after yesterday, not only is Pep Guardiola still the teacher, proved that he is in fact a sensei, and whatever the first belt is in the world of martial arts, Mikel Arteta is still not even training for that yet when it comes to tactics. Along with me now to discuss is Ryan mumbling to himself. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this conversation that we're going to have. I'm very curious. No, I'm not curious how you feel because I know so full disclosure for everybody, I don't really me and BG did not really talk about the game. So I have no idea where his head's at. I don't know if Mike comes on. I don't know where his head's at either. And it's great because you guys don't know where my head's at. And I think you guys think but we'll
No,
see.
I don't know.
But I'm excited. I'm excited because I take that back. I'm not excited. It's gonna. I don't even know. You don't have an itinerary. You didn't send me anything that we were going to touch on. I'm very curious as to what we're going to talk about because I think this conversation could go a million different ways because there were so many, in my opinion, there was so many different things to talk about that either went wrong or decisions that were made. Whether it be tactics, lineup, formation, you can go anywhere, and I think, not a good day for us. I will say that.
I mean, the day wasn't great from probably the minute that everybody woke up. It didn't even start. It didn't even start negatively on the pitch. It started off of it. It started with the. Well, I guess I'll say this. I'm disappointed. And I've seen a lot of different things on socials. I'll say, I guess the best way to put it maybe is to just quote Elliot from Arsenal Vision. And the best way to ensure that you have a successful season, something I'm paraphrasing. It's not, I shouldn't say quote, I'm paraphrasing, but it's said something to the effect of basically make sure you crash out of the League Cup early. I'm like, yeah, well, Stan the man in the chat. How are you, sir? Glad to have you along. But basically, nobody cares about that trophy until you actually get to the point where you have 90 minutes left before you play for it. I don't necessarily buy into that. At least personally, I don't buy into that. I want to be competitive on all four fronts. I don't believe the quadruple has ever been done. I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me on that, but I don't think that it's ever been done. I know City have never done it. And look, at the end of the day, when you're there and you have the chance to, in let's just call it 100 minutes time, when you include added time at the end of each half and whatnot, you have the chance to lift a trophy, and I think you want to do that. And so to say that I'm not disappointed because we didn't win the least important of the four trophies to every Arsenal fan, I challenge anyone to find me an Arsenal fan that would say this trophy was anywhere other than fourth in terms of priority. I'm disappointed, as I think we all are.
Priority for this season?
If you just in general, if you were to look,
I think for this season, because I'll argue that I think this season it's not the least important trophy. I'd argue I don't think it's the most important, but yeah, we'll get to it. Sorry,
we'll come to that. Interesting. What I meant is at the beginning of the year, you list the four trophies in order of priority and say, okay, this is the one I want the most. This is the one I want the least. I would argue no Arsenal fan would have put the League Cup above four, but we'll come to it. Just do me a favor, write it down. Write it down so we remember. Yeah. I'm disappointed. I can live with losing to a better team. I can live with the effort being there, all of the right things being in place, and it just wasn't our day. That has not, by and large, this season at all, in draws or the 4 losses that we have in 50 matches, that has not been the case. And yesterday, tactical masterclass by Pep. Absolutely tactical masterclass.
Okay.
It's not, and it's not close.
Wait, so you don't think there's been a team better than us at all this season in any game we played? I think that's I'd challenge on that. I know there's 2 games I would say, and I think one you won't agree with me with, but you don't think City were better than us?
Yesterday would be the first.
Okay.
Yesterday would be the first where I would say the better team.
And I know I get a lot of shit.
But the thing is that the better team won because the other team didn't play the way that they are capable of playing. They didn't set up, in my opinion, the best way they possibly could, all things considered. A supposedly fresh injury to Eberechi, we'll come into it. The bottom line is I'm disappointed. But I'm disappointed in the team, not in the result. If that makes sense. I'm disappointed in the team because, as I just said, I don't think we were set up properly. I don't think we had the mentality coming out. Well, I shouldn't say that. At some point, the mentality was lost because 25 minutes to a half hour into this game, we had chances, didn't take them, and then just seemed to take our foot off the pedal and just say, okay, boys, play for penalties. It's going to be that kind of a day. It's not going to work for us. Let's take our foot off the gas and let's just play for penalties and hope that we get there, and then we'll have a fighting chance. So I'll throw it to you. And yeah, how do you feel? Where do you come down on things? And we'll get into nitty-gritty here in a little bit, and then you can kind of also tell me how you're feeling first, and then tell me the 2 games that you think. Well, we'll come to the trophies later on, but I want to know then the 2 games that you think we were not the better team. Well, but tell me how you're feeling first.
City
after
was
yesterday. Right now,
yesterday was one of them.
Okay,
so I watched the game at a bar with 2 of my friends, one being an Arsenal fan, one being a City fan, and this is gonna hurt some people. I had so much fun. 2 good friends of mine, we were laughing, having a few beers. A lot of interesting things were said, went on, made for a good day. Now, obviously, the result was sour to me, but I think it really hit home today. And seeing headlines of, oh, Man City celebrated Carabao Cup, and seeing stats from the game yesterday, and yeah, I'm annoyed. And no, to be fair, I was annoyed yesterday. I was annoyed at the lineup. And funny enough, I would say our best periods of play were the first half. I'd probably say specifically the first half hour. And we were the 3 of us were all talking, and I was like, I understand why we're playing long ball, but I don't understand why we're playing long ball with the team that we have out on the pitch. So I was very confused. So I think Arteta had a plan. He had his tactics all set, but the team he selected does not match what he was set out to do. And it was very surprising. And I think City were there for the taking. I think I spoke to my City friend, and we were talking about the lineup, we were talking about the game, and he said, you guys need to score early, and you should score early, because playing a front 3 of Holland, Semenyo, Doku, and Cherokee starting, he was saying we're going to be open. We're going to be open to hit Gilchrist has to get behind us. He will get behind us. Kai is going to be making some runs, which is kind of what was my response. Like, yeah, I think Kai will make a lot of interesting runs. I think he'll create a lot of problems for the Man City D. Just kind of never got going. And I try to like use stats and use the way we play the game to kind of like state how I feel. But honestly, for me, I can't emphasize enough that this 11 could not have been worse. This is like the worst. This might be the worst pick team I've seen from Arteta this season, given who we have, injuries, even with injuries, and kind of to come circle to the question about what if you told me what competition is more important out of the four. I don't think the League Cup is fourth, only because of the timing of it. If you told me we were in the finals of every cup and you told me, what's the most important, I'm going to put the League Cup over the FA Cup, only because it is the first cup and you need to set the tone.
That's a very, very good point. Especially considering a few things that I've said in the recent past. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, and we need to win stuff, and we haven't won anything. So, like, to me, this was like so important. We need to set the tone. And we went out with a whimper. We didn't set the tone. I still think I don't want to say the league is ours, but I still think I'm not worried about losing the league yet anyways. But this was definitely a blow. It was definitely, we had a chance to really right a lot of wrongs, put people in their place. Yeah, it's Carabao Cup. But again, something I'll probably say ad nauseum during the show tonight is just setting the tone, and we had every chance to, and we didn't. And you could chalk it up to the players choking. You could chalk it up to the mentality of the players. You could chalk it up to Arteta and his, his 11, his tactics, his substitutions. It was just a big bowl of wrong that happened yesterday.
Do you think that mentality plays any role in this from us?
It did. Yeah, it did yesterday. I'll keep it as short. But it definitely did yesterday. You could tell the way the different, especially in between two halves. You could tell the way we were playing. It was completely different.
Are you afraid that mentality carries over? So here's what I said. Let me kind of preface that question. What I had said a few weeks ago, and I've pretty much been telling a lot of people this that kind of asked me about it. I thought it was important for us to win this trophy because I feel like losing it would cripple this team's mentality, especially having to still go to the Etihad for a huge game. I thought winning it would be great because it's a trophy and it'll give them confidence, but I feel like losing it would have a bigger impact on the mentality than losing it would, or than winning it would. And so I am deathly afraid now that this just absolutely decimates this team's confidence, this team's mentality in terms of being able to push on, put this behind them, and go beat Bournemouth, go beat Southampton when we come back from the international break, go try to get a result at Sporting in the Champions League, and then come back, at home in the league and try to beat Bournemouth. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope against hope I'm wrong. But I have just seen such weak mentality in this team this year that it is the one thing right now that I am probably most scared of in the world, other than spiders. I'm definitely, it is a crippling arachnophobia. Crippling. Anyway, so my question to you, how do you think this affects us going forward?
I mean, it definitely affects us. Now, if we had to play City again for the league, like, let's just say, like, it was a 3-point gap or less, and, like, it all came down to April 18th, or I think the game got moved to April 19th. But I would be like, yeah, this really screwed us up. we're in trouble. But I they have a game in hand, but a 9-point lead. And I think the league is just so weird, and with their back-to-back draws against teams that are either getting relegated or are going to be fighting relegation up until the last day. Gives me confidence, or not confidence. I would say maybe gives me hope, and it is in fact the hope that kills you. But there's just so many variables that the league is not going to come down to us against Man City. It's going to have a big part to play. But I don't think that if we lose against City in the league, that's not over either. The mentality thing is huge. But I just think the league it's a marathon, not a sprint, and we have 7 games left. Whereas the Carabao Cup Final was that game. Like, okay, this is the game. Either you're winning a trophy or you're not. Whereas the league, it's like, okay, one game at a time, one game at a time. And I think if they have that mentality, I think they'll be able to. I hate to say it, but paper over the cracks for now, just to get us over the finish line. Because I do think a 9-point lead with 7 games to go. I mean, we are definitely firmly in the driver's seat.
Well, for sure. I mean, we have to, even losing at City, we still have a 3-point lead. Let's assume they beat us there. Let's assume they beat Crystal Palace in their game in hand. We still have a 3-point lead. So somewhere else, we still have to lose. They can't drop any points. But I've seen it this year, and everything that Mike and I have agreed on that you've disagreed with us on in the past, in terms of the way that we've played, the performance that we've put in the past, few months, 4 months here, it reared its ugly head again yesterday. This inability to create anything. And in these moments, there's an inability to even pass the ball. We couldn't string together 2 passes yesterday, let alone 5 or 6 that would progress the ball up the field. And in that moment, they didn't forget how to football, right? So what's the answer here? It has to be. I mean, I'm obviously speculating here, but it has to be a mentality thing for them. It just has to be a fear of making the wrong pass. So I'm going to try to make the safe pass, but I'm also not going to put enough pace on the pass to actually get it to the recipient, and a defender is just going to come in and steal it. And it's I've seen it too often this season to say that they have the mentality to. And the thing is that, let me ask you this: how do you feel? Because I think the 2-week break hurts. I think this international break right now hurts because I think they have 2 weeks to stew on it, and it's all they're going to do. I understand the flip side of that. They have 2 weeks to stew on it, get angry about it, take it from being the fear and the loathing and the, oh my God, the world is ending, the sky is falling, to, wait, the sky isn't falling, the world isn't ending. Now I'm getting a little mad. And then in 2 weeks' time, go take it out on Southampton and then start to get in a better run of form again. So your take on the 2 weeks, because I think the 2 weeks will hurt them. I think they're going to be too much in their own head. They're going to stew on it. I think the 2 weeks will hurt.
I think for the players, I don't think it's going to matter much, but I think it's going to be good for Arteta, because I'm not going to sit here and say mentality isn't a thing. It's not an issue. When I clearly said 5 minutes ago, kind of is. I think I guess blame. I think Arteta's tactics, I thought, made sense against the team we were playing in City, but we did not select the team to perform said tactics. And he definitely saw that, because I think me and my friend, Connor, I mean, you met, me and Connor saw it right away. We were like, I get we're playing long ball, we're hoofing it, and it was working, but just the players we had, the personnel we had, it It just I don't know. The idea was working, but the players just couldn't execute. Yeah, and I think Arteta. I would like to think Arteta sees that, and I think we're also going to have in 2 weeks a different 11 because of injuries. I expect Eze to be back soon. Odegaard's pushing to come back against Southampton. Timber will be back, who I think we missed greatly. I think we needed Timber really bad today.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get to talking about
him. He's going to be interesting because he's been bad the last few weeks, but based on his skill set and what he provides, he could have really hurt City. So I think he was hurt, so it's not like we fucked up not playing him.
Right.
Ben White just isn't that guy. But yeah, no, I think the 2 weeks is better for us. I think we're gonna get healthier, and I think Arteta is gonna right some wrongs. Because and listen, this season, like, I feel like I've been the minority, like, not blaming Arteta. I'm blaming the players. This game, I have to put most of the blame on Arteta.
Yeah,
you could blame mentality, and like we sat back in the second half and we kind of let them walk all over us and let them score, which is fair and true. But I was happy I was with my friends, but I was also fuming at the 11. I didn't like it for a variety of reasons. And I still, strangely enough, wasn't nervous. And then like 5 minutes in the game go by, and I'm like, wow, guys, I think I'm getting nervous now. And it was.
Well, I asked, what did I say to you yesterday?
I think you asked if we were nervous.
I said, like, is anybody nervous yet? And you're the only one that responded. You said, nope.
Well, it's funny. I was with Connor, and Connor was just like, I'm pretty nervous. And I was like, I'm not really.
I want to hit the Uri and Timber thing real quick, and I'm not going to spend too much time. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. He's hurt. He couldn't play. So as for yesterday, moot point. But an observation that I have, and I want you to tell me if I'm crazy, because I don't think I am, but I can trust you to tell me if you think I am.
I'm going to tell you crazy, but yeah, go for it.
I have seen a significant drop-off from Bukayo Saka this season. And, yep, I know it was a big injury last year. I know that he's been carrying things this year. But I cannot help but see a significant drop in Saka's production and chance creation, creative, all of those things. You know where I'm going with it.
I think I do, yeah. Crazy,
now, the caveat to this will be, but let me finish the thought. It is coincided with Uri and Timber taking a bigger role and getting a lot more minutes than Ben White in this team. Two caveats. Number one, Martin Odegaard has also been hurt for a lot of that time. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that the Timber Odegaard Saka connection has built itself up to the point of the Ben White, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka connection and developed that chemistry. This is not me chopping Uri and Timber off at the knees. I think Uri and Timber is the better player than Ben White. I think there are just infinitely more levels to his game. That being said, I think that the way that we attack from the right, I think Ben White with Bukayo Saka on the right wing suits that tactic better. I think Uri and Timber is a better player, but this is I say it, I quote you all the time with it now, but to your horses for courses. And depending on who we're playing and how we want to play them, how we want to get at them, I think Ben White's the better option. Funny enough, seeing the lineup, the only thing that gave me pause was Kepa. And I was with Stan, with Stan say, the sentimentality and everything else. And I get that. I get that side of it. Not because I'm in the same mindset that I would have done the same thing. No, but I think that there's an aspect of that goes to recruitment. I've played all of these. If I come in and I play all of these games and I help you get to a point, and then where the rubber really meets the road, you don't play me in that game. Why do I want to come sign for you? That would be the only would be the only thing that I could think of. But I would have started Riot in this game. He's your number one. He's your number one for a reason. But I had no problems with either fullback starting in this game.
That's
Quite
great.
frankly,
Okay.
the Encapié start over Calafiori for this reason. I'm still not sure that Calafiori is 100% ready to go for a start. That's why I'm okay with the Encapié start. And he hasn't been bad. And I don't think he was bad until the yellow card that's 50-50 at best. But your take on what I just said, Ben White, Bukayo Saka, better tandem than Yuri and Timber, Bukayo Saka. And even if Martin Odegaard, because I do think that Odegaard's presence makes a difference in that as well.
It's just a crazy thing to tackle. So, like, you're wrong, but like I think Ben White makes. I think Ben White makes Saka better, and he makes that. I guess he kind of like what you're saying, like what we do. I guess in a way he unlocks Saka a little better, the way they do the give and goes and the underlapping and overlapping. But Timber does that too, and I think Timber's just more. I think Timber's, like you said, which you did say this. You said Timber's a better player. Timber is a better player. He's more of a threat.
He's a better player.
He could dribble. Yeah. He can run at you. Timber gives defenses more problems than Ben White does. So, like, I don't necessarily think Saka. I definitely don't think Saka's playing bad because Ben White isn't there. Saka's not playing good for I know you didn't say that.
Yeah,
but I'm saying,
I agree with I think it's a multitude of things. I just want to clarify.
Yeah,
I do not think the only reason
like I don't like
in production is because of Ben White. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I don't think if we start playing Ben White, all of a sudden Saka's going to regain form. He's not.
No, obviously, we just saw.
No, yeah. I don't know. I don't really. I think where we are now as a team, challenging for trophies, talking about quadruples. I'm sorry. I don't think Ben White starts in this 11 every week.
I would agree with that.
I think him and Saka are a good, I think him and Saka are a good tandem. But if you told me we didn't have Timber. So like, this is obviously, like you said, it's a moot point, but like, I'm always going to play Timber over Ben White. Like, it's just, I don't. So like, I guess like most of what you're saying, I think is a little crazy, but like, I won't lie. Like Ben White and Saka are like they're a good partnership, but I'm even knowing that and seeing them play, obviously for years, I'm always going to pick Timber to start over. And I don't care horses of courses. I don't care what game we're playing. I'm 100 out of 100 times going to play Timber. Yeah.
I do want to go back to something that Stan said, because I think this is also a big thing. The players need a rest. I mean, we played our 50th match yesterday. And this
who do you think needs a rest?
Well, the problem now, who do I think needs a rest?
Yeah. Like based on like their last few games, who do you think on this team needs a
rest?
Well,
I would have said Timber until he got hurt. I would say Saka. Declan Rice. I would not take yesterday out of the equation. This goes back to rotation, where I think over the course of a season, your best 11 can't start every single game. There are certain players, and I do think that Declan Rice is a player who, the more he plays, the better he is. But I think you need to find ways to keep him fresh so that he can maintain that level. 70 minutes in a game here and there is not a bad thing for him. He doesn't have to play all 90 plus every single game. Gyökeres, there's nothing you could do there. What are you going to start Jesus at the 9? We had no midfield. So with Eze and Odegaard both being out and Arteta just absolutely refusing to play Christian Norgard. So the midfield pretty much picked itself yesterday, unless you're going to start moving people into different positions that they don't play. But I think there's a part of that as well, that if Urian Timber plays most of the games and plays most of the games with Bukayo Saka as the right wing, but there need to be some times where Ben White's going to get a run out in the league, in the Champions League, and give a different look, because they're different players. Timber's a better player, but Ben White does things that Urian Timber just simply doesn't do. And people can give me all the numbers they want. My eyes don't lie, and I'm not an idiot when it comes to this stuff, and I know what my eyes tell me. My eyes tell me that Ben White isn't a shit player simply because Urian Timber. Now, I'm not saying you're saying that, but Ben White isn't a shit player because Urian Timber is a great player. They're both great players in their own way. I do again.
I don't even know if I would say that, but yeah, I get the point you're trying to make.
I mean, 2 years ago, Ben White was one of the best right backs in the world. All of a sudden, Urian Timber comes in and shows that he is also one of the best right backs in the world. But now Ben White can't get a shout because
Ben White can't stay healthy. So
well,
that's
and
another
why?
thing.
And why can't Ben White stay healthy?
I don't know. He has trouble staying fit.
My question to you would be: is he not staying fit this season because he hasn't played? So when he's asked to go out and put in 90 plus minutes when he hasn't done it in 3 months, and then he gets hurt, is that outside the realm of possibilities to say we haven't?
No, they're training every day, and I get it. Premier leagues are different, but they're not. It's not different to your body, to your muscles.
No, but to that end, and to that end, and this is another conversation that I wanted to get into later. When are we going to start asking questions about the training program and the physio team at this football club? Are they? I said this before when the Saliba, was it Saliba? Somebody picked up a pre-match injury and didn't play. And Saliba's was Liverpool. Was it Calafiori maybe?
No, Saka got hurt.
Maybe it was
the game.
It was. I made the comment, like, are they going through Navy SEAL training? Like, what are we doing? And Kai Havertz was supposed to be out for 8 weeks in August. He's still not fit. So either the physio staff doesn't know what they're diagnosing, or they're lying to Arteta, or Arteta is lying to us. And I don't. We'll get onto that later. I want to try to stay focused as much as I can on the game and the players here. I'll go to the other side of the field. The only reason that if I thought that Calafiori was healthy enough to start this game, I'm not sure. I would have been inclined to start Calafiori, because without him, there just is no left-sided attack with this team. It's virtually non-existent.
And it's tough though, because Nketiah is probably most Arsenal fans who've watched us. I would say Nketiah might be our player of the month.
He's been
so good.
Yep.
So it's tough because I agree. I think California needed to play this game. I think he offers an attack what we needed against City, and the hoof ball that we were playing. I think Calafiori would have been a lot better. I think just Calafiori, just his positionings, the spaces he takes up, the way he carries the ball, I think would have been an issue.
No, we saw it was. In
in the first half,
25-minute cameo.
Nketiah obviously had a terrible game. I mean, he's on a yellow card early. He didn't have a good game, which obviously wasn't in the cards. But I still just based on skill sets, Calafiori needed to start this game.
Would you agree? Would you agree though that Nketiah didn't have a good game because of the yellow card? Because I think the yellow card made him really shrink away.
It's definitely part of it, but his attacking is
that notwithstanding, because I don't. Yeah, he couldn't really go at. Excuse me. He really couldn't go at Semenyo defensively, because the referee was very clearly it was 11 against 12 yesterday, and it could not be more blatantly obvious than watching Bernardo Silva do Bernardo Silva things. And the referee all of a sudden go, wait, I I can't see.
Really,
Where am
you thought the ref was a problem? I didn't think so.
Not over. I think Bernardo Silva should have had a yellow card.
I think if the ref really wanted to say he was wearing a City shirt, and I don't think it would have been the craziest call, he would have sent Kepa off for his yellow card.
I could see that as well.
Because there was so the reason we went to a bar, and
Well,
because I was with my friend who was a City fan, we went to a neutral bar, just a regular bar, and there were some City fans at the bar, and they were screaming for Kepa to get sent off. And honestly, at first I was kind of like, yeah, all right, but you watch the replay, and I'm like, yeah, no, he's not. He should not be sent off. But I mean, at the time, a knee-jerk reaction, a knee-jerk referee reaction. If the ref really was really wearing sky blue, he could have sent them off. So I don't think the ref was really an issue in our game.
It was. I don't know, man. I just there's just a maybe I have wired my brain to just kind of see things more than what perhaps they are. But I'm watching yesterday, and meanwhile I'm watching the game going like this because every person in the bar yesterday who was taller than me didn't bother going anywhere else. They just stood right in front of me. And I'm like, I'm watching like it was just 182 people showed up at the bar yesterday to watch.
Crazy.
Shout out to me for getting all that going. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna hand myself my own flowers. But anyway, I just a lot of what I saw, especially in the first half, because the second half, nothing. There was absolutely nothing to the second half that could be argued. The first half, there were just like there were fouls that were given against us that Bernardo Silva could just like Bernardo Silva. I'm fully convinced that Bernardo Silva could impale someone and would not have a foul called against him in this league. I hate Bernardo Silva, but I hate more the way that I feel he's refereed for whatever reason. I don't know why he's reffed that way, but he's not reffed at all, I guess is probably the way to put that.
And it's weird. It's not just against us. I've seen him do it against other teams. So
that's what I mean. I don't mean just again. I mean again. I mean the whole league. That dude. That dude has to have naked pictures of every Premier League of every PGMOL official and any executive associated with the Premier League. He has to have like very compromising information or whatever. Anyway, so there were things like that I felt were not consistent, I think is the word that I'm looking for. So I think Nkapie could have done better had the yellow card not happened. But look, hindsight's always going to be 2020. Calafiori comes on, does the things that Calafiori did, and we all sit here and say, "See, Calafiori should have started." I mean, it's revisionist history. Let's face it. It is very much revisionist history. It's the Nani Madueke comes on and look at what he makes it like. And I'm just as an example, but I'm saying Madueke comes on in a game and makes an immediate. Well, why didn't he start? And it's just revisionist history. Yeah. But there is a shout for Calafiori starting simply because of what he brings going forward, and on the ball.
Him and Timber. I think him and Timber.
Well, I mean,
I think it's a different game if Calafiori and Timber start. Again, we didn't have Timber, so
right.
Obviously, I get that. But
I mean, it's a different game if Eza starts. It's a different game if we have Odegaard healthy as well. If we're able to not start Gyökeres and start Kai up top, and we've got Eza on the pitch, even without Odegaard. If we have Eza yesterday, it's a different game. If we start Eza and Calafiori, my goodness. But so tactically, does he set up that way? And are we doing the things that we're doing tactically because of the 11 that he had to start? I don't know. I don't know what more he could have done with the lineup. Could he puts who starts for Eza if not Kai?
Saka.
So, not arguing. Saka goes into the right 8 role, and you start Nani at right wing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was happy with Kai starting, but the problem is just he can't stay healthy. I think going into the season, and I said this on multiple shows that we've done, and well, I mean, Arteta said it. Arteta said after we signed Gyökeres, even before we signed Gyökeres, he was like, "Kai is our starting striker next season. He's going to start." And I genuinely believe that was the case. I genuinely believe he was always starting. I think him just not being fit really screwed us. I do think Gyökeres was going to be like a super sub for us. But now he's having more games, and we're kind of working Kai into a different role, which we've done before, and it's worked. Obviously, we brought him as a midfielder, and now, and then he progressed well as a striker for us, and I think we're kind of converting him into a 10, because, like you said, we are very right side dominant, and you want to trust Saka, even if he's having the worst season he could probably be having. You do, and it's tough because you don't want to trust a Chelsea reject that everyone's saying that we signed, which I get that in certain capacities. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would, gun in my head, I probably would start Kai still. I thought he would be more visible in the game. I mean, the only player on our team that won more duels than lost was Saliba. So, or ground duels anyway. And then even in the air, him and Gyökeres were 0 for 4, which I'm a little surprised. I didn't really expect that. So, yeah, I don't know. I genuinely think though, like Timber and Calafiori, when you talk about, oh no, as I know this, I think Timber and Calafiori would have been such a massive difference. And I'll tell you, and we talked to this already, but I think the biggest difference, and I was fuming in the car, and we've touched upon it, but something that I was most upset about was Kepa starting.
Well, let's get into that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we know why he did it. I think we're in agreement that neither of us would have done it. Let me ask you this question. For the £5 million that we paid for him, is he a £5 million second choice goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think you got a great deal.
Okay.
But you just said it, second choice.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I am of the mind that when in a final of any sort, and look, in the league, it's not really a final, but if there is an opportunity, when the opportunity arises, hopefully it does, that we can wrap up the league, I want the best 11 out there. I don't care. I want the best 11 out there. Maybe take that with a pinch of salt. I do think I would play our best 11. Period. I'm thinking like stamina. Do they, are they fit? Blah blah blah. This and that. So Mike just sent us a text. Quick, pull the curtain back real quick. We were talking yesterday about doing a show. Mike said, I'm going to commit to doing a show just to see if the two of you, and then not show up just to see if the two of you actually do a show. I really thought that's what he was doing. But anyway, cup final of any kind. Start the best team that you can possibly put out there. And I would like to think that as a professional, despite what I said earlier about the player's mentality, I think Kepa would understand. Sorry, the dogs were barking and I zoned out for a minute. I think Kepa would understand, like, hey, I'm second choice as a cup final. This isn't my competition. It's the club's competition. We're here to win a cup. David Raya is a first choice keeper. Let's go. Now, that being said, my thoughts on, because I have seen a lot of people just say it's down to Kepa. Kepa's the reason we lost. No, he's not. No, he's not.
I have one foot in that boat. One foot.
Not a chance. That goal was coming no matter what.
But you can't. Okay. You're just speculating.
If you're looking to
We have the
blame,
best defense in the world.
you're looking to
they were
blame
attacking,
one,
but they weren't
blaming
scoring.
Kepa, this is what I said. Blaming Kepa is reactionary. The goal was
But he's
coming.
the reason.
The goal,
but he was the reason they scored.
Sure. You don't think they score? You don't think they score in that game?
If we had Raya,
you're out of your mind.
I don't know. I think we have the best defense.
Manchester City were effectively doing this to us yesterday. They were constricting us to the point where they
I was waiting for you to.
They could have run a contest in 5 minutes and been like, get your vote in now, and we'll choose a winner in the next 5 minutes to come down onto the pitch and score the winning goal in the cup final, because now we're that much better than Arsenal that we could pull you out of the stands, out of your seat, bring you down here and let you walk the ball into the net. That's exactly what was going to happen.
You're going to disagree with me right now. We do the same thing. And I said it to Connor. We're watching the game, and I'm like, oh, look what City are doing. The exact same thing that people yell at us about. The horse, they were just passing the ball. Doku and Semenyo were both roasting and Cap because they were switching a little bit, and they were getting crosses through. But we were fine. All it took was Kepa to fuck up a cross and leave it on a platter for O'Reilly to put in the back of the net. And I laugh and I go, interesting. We do the same shit City are doing right now, and we get shit for it. But yet City do it like, oh, they're really dominating Arsenal. Oh man. And then you literally just said, oh, they were bound to score. It was bound to go in. We do the same thing.
We do. But we do it without scoring. That's the issue. We have all of this possession, all the possession in the world, 80%.
We do score though.
Maybe
not as much as we should, but we do
finish
score.
Our dinner.
I disagree.
When we dominate possession like that, look, Clive, it was Clive or Elliott, and I know I've gotten into this very bad because I listen to the instant reaction and then the main pod from Arsenal Vision after every match, and one of those two said it best, and this was in my rants of we can't score goals. We're not even creating chances. It was one of them. Can't remember who it was. Sorry, guys, if you watch this. One of them said that if you want to see how well we're doing in terms of chance creation, count the number of corners that we have. Because that goes to show that we're getting into dangerous areas and creating. And I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know how many corners we had yesterday. I'm going to guess 4 because I know we had a few.
We had them early.
Yeah, we had a decent amount early. I'm going to 4 or 5 maybe. I don't recall any corners in the second half at all. Back to the point.
Oh, wow.
What?
We had 3.
Okay. So
we had 2 in the first half, 1 in the second.
We did have 1 in the second. Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember now. I do. It was at Calafiori.
Yeah.
I think Calafiori was driving and I think that's who created the corner. Back to the point here. They were, I don't know why. I don't know what the team talk at halftime was. If Arteta just said, look, boys, I kind of don't care anymore. It's not a trophy that I give a shit about. Nobody get hurt. Go out for 45 minutes, jog around a little bit. Nobody get hurt. I'm kidding, obviously, but there was such a drastic difference from the first half, the first 25 minutes, to everything else, and especially the second half, because like you would think that second half we just had halftime. They were starting to turn it on toward the end of the first half. Now we get a break. Now we get to stop that momentum. And they came out in the second half like they just never quit. And I don't know what happened in terms of a mentality.
It's funny though. You talk about, what did Arteta say to his team? What did Pep say to his team?
No, true. Yeah. Hey, the other team gets paid to play too.
I think they figured out. They figured out what we were doing. They're like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to change it up. I think they just figured us out, and they were like, okay, cool. They're not They're weak. Their mentality is weak. They are not gonna run and grab this game from us. So let's just big brother them and grab the game for them. We don't care about winning this Carabao Cup, but they do because they need to set the tone. They need to win this. They need this more than we need this. Let's go out there and and I'm sure he did a few few tactical things here and there, and that was it. And you having Cappy on a yellow. And I mean,
would you have made the change at halftime?
Calafiori for Nkapie?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would have made it in the first half. I would have never started Nkapie, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I would subbed Kepa off at halftime, but I would have never started Kepa. So it's
I just think that in watching everything leading up to that goal, and I also saw, and this is not nitpicking, just kind of making conversation, maybe. A lot of people like, oh, he was caught in two minds. Do you parry it or do you catch it? I didn't see that. I just saw a misjudging of the ball, and he just missed it. I didn't see it caught in between two minds.
I didn't see that either.
But boy, I mean, I see a lot of people, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying the way I watched it, what I saw is I saw a guy that was hell-bent he was going to catch the ball, and he just didn't. And that's the craziest thing. You have gloves. What? You know what? Change your freaking can Nike make gloves for goalkeepers, but that are the same material as NFL wide receiver gloves with all the stickiness on them? And those guys, like those, I see goalkeepers try to catch a ball, and it's like they've never caught anything but a cold in their life.
Problem is, you don't always want to catch a ball.
Well, I understand that,
yeah,
but I'm saying when I watch goalkeeper like yesterday, Kepa wanted to catch that ball, and the ball went right. I mean, the ball goes right through his hands. I mean, it goes right through his hands. This wasn't even a misjudging of it. He didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Period. It wasn't Pickford from the Everton match going after the cross from Dowman that Nkapie gets a thigh to, and Pickford just didn't get there. Like he dove and he didn't get there. So that's a misjudging. This is simply you tried to catch the ball and you missed. You just let the ball go through your hands. Like that, I don't understand. I mean, that's a ball. You should be able to catch that ball with your bare freaking hands. But I digress. The thing is, again, with Kepa, I would not have started him, but I don't blame him. It's a team thing. It's a team game.
I'm blaming him.
I'm blaming him. What I don't understand is how you could watch that game and say, now we were in that game. If Kepa doesn't do that, we've got a chance. We had no chance. There was no chance whatsoever. No chance.
No chance to win in 90 minutes, yeah. But this is the first thing I said when we were talking about the game. I was like, the thing that I'm worried most about is Arteta playing for the draw. And because that's kind of how we sort of play, find margins, don't concede, don't lose the game. And we go to extra time. And for us, the season, for this team, it's uncharted territory. I could see us losing in penalties or losing in extra time.
And that's the other thing, like that mentality of, well, if you can't win it, don't lose it. Somebody's got to win this game.
Well, no. Well,
somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. This game's not.
I didn't say if we can't win it. I just said don't lose it.
No, not you. Not you.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that quote is out there from multiple players and Arteta. Oh, if you can't win the game, just don't lose.
Again, context. The first leg of a Champions League knockout stage.
But it's like
any other game, I don't like that quote. But for the first leg against at Bayern in Germany at Bayern Leverkusen, it's a fine quote. I'm not worried about it.
I'm fine with it in that situation, but I do think that there's a bit of a mentality to this team of if you can't, even in the league, if you can't win it, just don't lose it. Well, there's no choice in this one. And I think there's a mentality there of, look, just get by. Just, okay, we're not going to win, but we don't have to lose it, but somebody does. Somebody has to lose it. I'm very anxious for Mike to come in, which he says he's going to. because I'm very curious to get his reaction.
Well, real quick,
I'm
really mad. I was going to say something to you, and I forgot. When you talk about, we were talking about how City were doing the horseshoe of death, and they were doing the same thing we do. Like, yeah, but we don't score. We have the most goals in the Premier League, so we do score. Granted, a lot of our goals from set pieces, and a lot of these horseshoe of death moments don't directly lead to goals. Like, I get that argument, but we're scoring goals, so it's not like we're not scoring. Are we creating enough? That is something that I sometimes worry about, because it's not and this is, I think Elliot said this on the show. It's not about creating 2 or 3 chances and scoring from said 2 or 3 chances. It's about creating 20 chances.
Exactly. Yep.
And scoring 2 to 3.
So that's right. But like, you can't only create 2 chances and then complain about not taking the 2 chances. You have to. The law of averages, you're not going to convert every chance. So if you're only creating 2 chances, chances are you didn't finish either one of them.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. And Stan, I think most Arsenal fans would agree with this statement. It's not the loss, but the manner of.
I'll be honest, I'm not gonna be able to let this go for probably a while. I'm still pissed that we started Kepa, and I'm really not trying to fully put 2 feet in the Kepa cost us this trophy boat. But he's not good at catching the ball. He can't make saves. He's not good at distributing the ball. There were so many chances where I'm yelling, like, White is in space, Trossard is in space. There's so many like long ball opportunities for him to make. Didn't make him. He was not confident distributing the ball, and everything that we suffered from and everything that we lacked in going forward resulted because of what Kepa didn't do, it's Raya.
No.
Okay, well, you need to watch the game again, and I will circle.
Here's why I'll tell you that Raya, I agree with the distribution.
The game was different if Raya's in there.
I agree with the distribution. Who's better at it? Angle, but there was no one in ball support, so we're hoofing the ball long. There's no second player.
Trossard was coming back.
If you're hitting the ball over the top to Trossard can't also then be the next man in to get the ball.
Well, that's why we had Kai Havertz and Gyökeres starting.
And neither one of them were there. Go back and watch. Watch every ball over the top, and there's one player there.
But that doesn't matter. If we're not making the first play, that doesn't matter.
But there were those plays. So I'm saying watch the plays that are made that you're talking about, not just from Kepa.
We didn't make them. Didn't make them.
Watch any of them. Watch it from Gabriel. Watch it from Salih. Watch it from Nkapie or from Ben White. Any long ball over the top. The primary target doesn't even win the duel, number one. But there was no one around that, even if he wins the duel, to be able to pick up the ball and run with it. So if Kepa's doing it, even if he does it, doesn't make a difference because the second player wasn't there.
No.
City were so... 2 things that they did, and Mike will say hello and get you going here in a minute. But 2 things that City did in this game that was the here again, the tactical masterclass that he just made Arteta his little bitch. The screen across the top, those 4 players, and I even saw that yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I've never seen that.
Wait, what?
Like in a straight line, a screen of 4 players. I mean, I've seen one, I've seen 2. I don't ever recall seeing 4 across the front, and not even necessarily really pressing, but just holding their ground. Like, okay, bring it. If you got 2 choices, you go over us or you try to go through us, and you can't go through us. We know you can't go through us, so go over the top. But then the way that Arteta countered that was, the only way you get by it is to go over it. But now everything is compact. They stayed so narrow off the ball that every time the ball went over the top and there's no second player could get into the space to be able to help.
Yeah. I mean, Calafiori and Timber to play wide.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with that at all. Mike, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, is it? What year is it, Mike?
Well,
I
let's see.
think
We just failed to win another cup. So 2019-ish,
Yeah, right.
more or less. Or
Ryan, I'm also fairly certain that he shaved before he came on. I think that's what he was doing.
I like that.
There was
haircut day, boys.
Changing of a diaper, and he just woke up, and no, I think you just shaved. Anyway, how are you, buddy?
Just guys, I don't know where you guys have spoke, and I don't want to be too repetitive. Just something that stuck out to me in that front four that you said, Tanner, that really irritated me is, between Kepa when he did go short and pass to our center backs or to our fullbacks, it was also really weird for me to see like Declan Rice and Zubimendi just floating behind like Cherski and Haaland. Like they didn't show themselves or drop back further for the ball. And I don't know if they're like so programmed because of the rigid way in which we operate, in which they're like, no, when this player has the ball, this is my zone and this is where I have to be to receive it. And I know a lot has been said about Kepa and his distribution versus David Raya. But I did found it really funny that like, I don't know if I feel like the players necessarily need the coach to say, hey, pendejo, drop back 5 yards, show yourself. And I just found that like ridiculously frustrating because I think I saw that front four that you said multiple times, Tanner, and multiple times we couldn't. We gave the ball away, but I didn't feel like they were dropping back at all. They were holding their position, so it was such a weird passage of play to see over and over. And when we tried to pass to them because they wouldn't move, they would just intercept it. They would just get the ball from us. And, we resorted to Kepa, with the long ball. And every time it's a long ball, dude, they fucking won it. Like, I don't feel like we won a 50-50 all game. It was such a frustrating performance just in general. Yeah.
But to that point on Kepa, that's not winning the duel is not his fault. I just the idea of blaming one player when, okay, can you name me 4 players that had a good game? I can name 2. I
think our 2 center backs had it outside of
that's
them.
That's
it.
I
mean, that's just how I feel.
Calafiore coming on late. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I feel like this was one of those games, and I pushed back on the whole idea that the only reason we lost was Kepa. Personally, I don't believe that. I genuinely think that
only.
Yeah, not exclusively. I mean, did he absolutely kick the ball into his net in the first goal? Yes. I'm not denying that. But City tactically, or Pep Guardiola setting up tactically to frustrate us and to lock us down, started at like minute 25. The goal was what, like 60 something near 70, and so like we were not good in the final as a team as a whole. And then the whole idea, look, I understand there's levels between Raya and Kepa, 100%. But guys, like we've played this season without Gyökeres didn't look that shit. We played without Ødegaard didn't look this shit. Saka didn't look this shit. You're telling me Raya is the reason we play better? Like, in that case, you might want to give him the 300K a week. Like, there's no fucking way that Raya is the sole player that has as relevant in like the top of the table right now. Like, I felt like the goal, his distribution is important, but we shouldn't have to like Raya's out. Therefore, this is the performance that we gave up. So I'm going to do that whole thing where I'm going to give City their flowers, but also like the players. I feel like the players, they're telling us that they let the fans down, but I think they let themselves and the manager down as well. But I'm coming from a perspective in which I think City tactically outdid us and pinned us back. I saw some, like, in my opinion, ridiculous statements that, like, oh, what do you expect? They defended. Like, they went there to defend. And I don't think Arsenal played a defensive game. I think simply City overpowered us as any way, shape, and form. So, like, we tried to play through. We were just completely ineffective. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I'm very frustrated with the performance. I think Stan said, I was about to highlight, and I remember I don't have control. About 6-7 comments up, Stan the Man says it's not the loss, but the manner of the loss.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where it's just really deflating, and I'm one of those guys, and like I'm remaining optimistic in the league. I will say I find it very frustrating that our fans and rival friends and media say we're 9 points apart. We're not, in my opinion, we're not 9 points until we're level games. Okay. So we're currently 6. I don't do the 9 points. Well, because
yeah, I get what you're saying, but who cares?
But Ryan, but no, because it turns into they bottled the league from 9 points. It's not 9 points. Like that extra game means a lot. Because currently that means we could fuck off 3 out of the 8 games, 8 or 7 games that remain.
We have 7.
Okay, yeah. 7. We could fuck off 3 games and still have a good goal difference and win. It's a major difference. So like this idea that they did this to us a few years ago too, bro. When City had 1 or 2 games and had or some shit, and they're like, "Oh my god, you guys blew a 7-point." It was never a 7-point fucking gap. So it's just a little pet peeve of mine. And so like when we say, so what? Not to be super dismissive, but people say we're still top of the league by 9 points. It's not 9 points. It's 6. And after the Etihad, which I don't know if you're, I understand it's going to be a different lineup. It's going to be a different setup. It's going to be at their home. So you can make the argument it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but potentially we have a few key players back. But like, it's not an easy win. It's not a slam dunk. You go there, you walk out with a 1-1 or 0-0, you walk out with a point. That's a different conversation. But for the time being, I don't like the idea like, oh my gosh, we're up 9 points. I don't believe we're up 9 points. And I'm waiting to see how this team bounces back. The last 3 times they lost, they went on like a 12-game winning streak. So
15, I forget who put that out there, but I saw.
Yeah. So with that in mind, all we got to do is win another 7 games and we're there.
So let me ask you, because I asked Ryan already and you brought it up. How confident are you that they can put this behind them and move on and go and win the league?
Probably overly confident based on what I've been or at least I've been expressing most of the season. I generally think they have enough quality, respectfully to the other teams and famous last words, right? We're not playing a team of the gap in the quality of City for the last 7 games. 1 game, yes, but there's another 6 games, and one of them is, West Ham. And sure, every game has its little thing in which it could be a difficult thing, right? I'm not dismissing any of the games, and we're seeing it in the league where like everybody's like, oh my god, whatever, you drop points versus Wolves, and then Wolves goes and beats like whatever it was, like Chelsea and Liverpool. So yeah. Okay, see, I'm spitballing. I can't generally remember, but you know what I mean? Like whatever the last team we drew was Brighton or whatever the shit it was. It was like, oh my god, you're so shit, and then they go and beat a top 6 team over and over. So it's a frustrating loss. I do still feel confident. I do think that they're going to shake it off. And, I'm a big fan of saying, history and whatnot. And I really hope that the nerves isn't going to get to the best of them. But I just think we're in such a favorable position as is right now that, we're in good standing. And also, for it's crappy of a team or as a frequent of a team that Chelsea could be, they still got to visit them as well. And I think they have another hard away game. But, Chelsea and Liverpool continuously shitting the bed and keeping that top 4 thing alive. Realistically, it's going to be a top 5, which is a whole other pet peeve of mine. Keeping that alive, I feel like it's still there for the taking. So I'd be willing to say that Manchester City is going to drop points one more time in the league. And then after that, it depends on what we do. So fairly confident in the league, less confident in different tournaments. What Ryan, are you guys say? Are you guys optimistic? Are we winning this thing or not, boys? When's the parade?
One other thing, real quick. Their hardest 2. They are at Chelsea. These are their remaining away matches. Chelsea, Burnley, Everton. So Chelsea and Everton are not going to be hopefully are not going to be easy matches for them. The Everton one, especially. I'm Ryan said earlier he's 1 foot in the blame Kepa boat, 1 foot blame the team. I'm 1 foot in the gap is comfortable enough and we can go to City and get a draw to maintain the points gap at 6. But I'm also 1 foot in the, and I said this before, I don't know if I said it on the air. I think I did. But I said that I think if we lose yesterday, that it wrecks their confidence and they could absolutely capitulate everything. I think they'll get through Sporting. I don't know that they get to the Champions League final. Now I have a feeling they come out against Bournemouth, lay an egg. I'm a pessimist at heart. I hate to say it. I am.
I mean, this game definitely wrecks their confidence, but again, I just think it's too little, too late for City. And this is why I wanted to do a show 2 weeks ago, a week ago, where one of us, I'm not going to name names because I love them too much, but was like,
well, Mike, we know who that is because we know who
too much. Beating this, oh my God, but City, they've done it every year. We need to worry about City, jacking off City, jacking off Pep, jacking off Holland, jacking off City. And I'm like, this City team is not good. They're still not good. Did Pep outperform Arteta? Yes, he did. And I think, again, and Mike, you weren't here, what I think happened, I do think the players kind of had a weak mentality in the second half, but I think Pep just figured us out, and changed what he needed to change. But more on top of that, I think Arteta had a good way to set up against City. I think our plan to beat City was a good plan. I don't think we had the right players for it. Kepa shouldn't have started, obviously. Ben White shouldn't have started, and Kepa shouldn't have started. Now I get Ben White had to start. Timber was hurt. Eza was hurt. I get that. I just think we didn't pick the right 11. But yeah, no. So back to what I was saying real quick, just about City. Like, I'm not worried about City. Back-to-back draws against West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and I think the Nottingham Forest one, they were home. And and then the last thing I'm going to say is, Tanner, earlier you said like, oh, like we got to go to the Etihad. It's going to be tougher for us. I'd rather play away at City right now than to play at the Emirates, because at the Emirates, the crowd there is going to be butthole puckering, sighing.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Oh no, they're going to be so worried about the game. They're going to make the players even more worried than they already are. And I think if this game, April 19th, was at the Emirates, I would be more in your boat and be more pessimistic. But I think the fact that it's at the Etihad and we don't have our home crowd groaning and moaning about the and have clenched cheeks the whole game and not just sing for fucking 90 minutes, which I get. I would be stressed out too. So I'm not going to sit here and sit on a high horse and saying, oh, I'd be banging drums singing for 90 minutes. I mean, I would, but that's not the point. But yeah, no, I'm happy it's at the Etihad. I'd rather it be at the Etihad. But yeah, no, I'm not. It's not about us. I mean, it is about us. It is about our mentality. I just think it's too little, too late. And I don't think City have it to win out and cause us to derail our season.
Mike, any comment?
Just on the starting 11 question, I had a question on the starting 11 thing. Is you said it's not exclusively down to Kepa. We started off with the wrong starting 11. What else would you have changed? Would it have just not been Trossard and it would have been Madrecki?
Well, yeah. I mean, that too, yeah. I wouldn't have started Trossard, but
because I looked at our lineup and I was like, okay, this is the lineup that we have. This is the bar Kepa, which I think that decision was more man management and squad management than ability. But bar Kepa, the other starting 11 that we had, or the 10 outfield players, I feel like it was just heavily based on fitness, to be completely honest with you. Like Calafieri was out for a little bit. Timbereze was out, of course. Saka plays because Saka plays, which is, by the way, I keep on going back and forth with a good mate of mine in a different group. And, he reminds me of what Saka has done. And, thank you, Saka, for the 15, 20 goals of the last 2 seasons. But no fucking thank you, Saka, for what we've been doing this season. And you you could say injuries, you could say everything, and like if that's the case, I'm just saying you brought in Madueke. He's been relatively healthy. Give Saka a rest, let him rest at hammy that he's recovering from. Like I don't know, but playing him into form seemingly isn't working in my opinion. But then again, I will state that this game in particular was one of those games in which, because I think the performance was so bad overall, that anybody that had, lack of better words, the agenda word that people use, like if you were a negative Nancy about Saka, it's easy to pick him apart this game. If you were negative about Zubi, you could pick him apart. If you were negative about Kepa, you could pick him. You could pretty much pick apart any fucking player because they all played like shit. Like collectively, we played like shit. You know, like I'll be semi-reasonable here in my dislike of current form, Gyökeres and Šeško, and say, well, those motherfuckers probably didn't see the ball for 60 minutes of this game. So it's difficult for me to, I guess, criticize them. But I do think there's something to it that only our center backs really showed up.
I'll push back. I think Zubimendi had a not horrible game. He made an interesting pass in the first half that worries everybody because he's made so many bad back passes.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, Zubimendi, I thought actually had a pretty good game passing. He was, I think, 4-1 in his aerial duels, which is crazy to me because I feel like he's one of the shortest players on our team. And he won a lot of aerial balls that he shouldn't have won. He also, I mean, which is crazy because I think Zubimendi's had a poor run of form, but then you look at like the stats, and I get it, the stats aren't everything. I know that, but you know, I think Elliot Anderson just passed him, but he's ran the most in the entire Premier League. So he's everywhere. And then it's just funny how we talk about, oh, Declan Rice, he does everything. And I think, funny enough, Elliot tweeted something a few weeks ago. It's just like, I don't understand what Zubimendi does because everywhere you look, Rice is everywhere. And it's true. But yeah, no, I think Zubimendi is like, I think I'm like back. I think I'm to where BG was with Zubimendi in the beginning of the season, where it's like, I don't know what he's doing. I can't figure him out, but he's doing something. And the stats say he's doing something. And I did see him yesterday, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he was amazing. Like we didn't play well. I'm not saying we did, but considering how we played, I thought Zubimendi was okay. I thought the center backs were okay. Calvary was okay. And there was one more player that I didn't hate, Gyökeres. I didn't like, he wasn't good. I'm not saying that, but like given our attack had no teeth, he was gumming people. He was trying to make runs. He's not a guy that's going to win the ball in the air and just score. He's also not a guy. He just, and I said this when we signed him, he just doesn't fit our system. It doesn't make sense. The signing never made sense. And again, it goes back to what I said before you came on, Mike, is I genuinely think Arteta said it in the press conference. Havertz is going to be our starter. Havertz is our striker. He's our striker. He's going to start for us week 1. He said that before we signed Gyökeres, and he said it after we signed Gyökeres. And I believe that was the case. I think we were always going to play Havertz, and I think Gyökeres would come on in certain games or be like a super sub. But just fitness and injuries really screwed us. But yeah, I thought Gyökeres worked really hard trying to get into positions, trying to get balls. It seemed like he was everywhere in the final third. It's just we weren't getting there. We were never there. It was very difficult.
And yet, all last season, just real quick, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yet all last season, all we heard was we're a number 9 short. That's the missing element to this team. That was the answer last year. The answer to why can't Arsenal get over the line? They don't have an out and out striker. We go and get the out and out striker, and I don't disagree with you that he doesn't fit the system. Don't disagree with you there at all. But neither does Šeško. That player just doesn't exist. The player exists, and he's already here. It's Kai. Period.
Wait, what player doesn't exist? I didn't hear what you said.
The number 9 that everybody was screaming for to fit this system in the way that we play.
It's Kai.
It's Kai.
I mean, honestly, it was Isak. I think Isak would have fit our team really well too.
I wouldn't disagree with that. But now it's it's the left wing. Well, so what's it going to be next year? So what's the excuse going to be next year that where is it next year? Is it an attacking mid? If we still have Odegaard and Eze and we still don't get over the line, is it an attacking mid? And then what does it become the year after that? Well, we moved Saka inside to play the right 8. So now we don't have a right wing because Nani can't finish his breakfast. He can dribble at people all day long, but he can't finish. So it just every year, it just seems like this fan base wants to kick the can down the road and identify a new problem. Then we go out, we address the problem, and it doesn't actually address the problem. And I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna let Mike jump in. And you could jump in on everything that Ryan said. I just wanted to get that out there.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think that's largely why I and several others are so critical of Gyökeres, is because everybody said you need a 9, and we didn't sign an older profile Watkins that was going to be back, like back up to Kai.
Watkins is an older profile Watkins.
Well, he's Watkins. Did I
he's like
completely? Thank you, Ryan.
He's like 31. He's old.
I meant in the sense that, like, if you think of a physical prime for an athlete, you normally think 27 to 29, and you start thinking about 30 plus 1. Sure, there's plenty of players in sports science keep people, going further. But I think what happened with Gyökeres is the price tag, the goals that he scored, his age profile gave him less of like the grace that you would give in like Šeško, which was like, he's with 22 right now, right? So I think when we purchased him, a lot of people were like, oh wow, we bought a ready-made striker, whatever we thought Vlahovic was, or whatever, et cetera, somebody that's like, we want instant right now, right? We don't want kick the can down the road, as BG said. So here's where I'm going to insert context a little bit. Frustrating thing that I found this season, and it's crazy because we're speaking about, I love that comment, by the way, Stan. He says Danny Welbeck is still banging them in at 35.
I love Danny. I need to get his Brighton kit. I'm like really mad I don't have it yet. I fucking love that guy.
One thing that I find very frustrating about this season thus far, and we're speaking as a team that we just logged the League Cup, so like the manner in which I'm going to express myself seems like, oh my god, this is horrible. How could we have failed? And we're 6 points up in the league with 7 games left. So it's really funny that we're having these crazy conversations, being in such a positive position in the league, right? But like, I do find it deflating where like, okay, who could play 10 for us? Eze, Merino, Odegaard, Kai. Fuck it. Let's just have all 4 of them injured for various periods of the season. It was really frustrating to me. Like, Gyökeres would have probably, in my opinion, played half the minutes that he played this season had Kai been healthy. And so and just little things like that. Calafiori was finally bedding into the team. He looked absolute great, and then he reverted back to form. Little things like that. I found it really frustrating that the amount of money that the team invested for depth, and we still managed to get a cluster of injuries in one specific area. And it was just like, for fuck's sake, man. And, like, football is not, I've had this conversation back and forth, and, it's not exclusively luck, because let's face it, guys, like they played, I don't know who was a center back, but they played a midfielder at left back too. So they figured it out. There's ways of figuring it out. It's just frustrating to me, to say the very least. BG, are you hinting slightly, by the way, just because you mentioned squad? Are you hinting at the manager being the person that we need to replace? Are we going to open up that can of worms for Ryan to take off on that? Because you mentioned creative center, creative player. We bought the creative player. You mentioned striker. We bought the striker. The only thing that I think that like the large majority of the fan base wanted, and maybe a lot of people thought Eze was going to play that role, was the left wing, because I think he played 1 or 2 games and he got like roasted by somebody like Bowen or some shit. He got roasted. There you go, Matty Cash. He got roasted, and then we just never fucking, like, he felt either like Arteta was like, not doing that shit again. So with that being said, we're never going to see Kep again, guys. If that makes you guys feel any better.
Yeah, that's true. Look, the Arteta out thing. I mean, I've said it before. It's a broken record with me at this point. He can't create. He cannot coach up an attack. He cannot help. He can't get these guys to be able to create. And
we have the most goals in the league, though.
I was just gonna say it. It almost defies everything. But as I'm watching these games in context, I'm saying, where are these chances? And early on, look, it's been like this for 4 months. Okay, so we did a lot of good work at the beginning of the year, and I don't know if is it injuries that we started to fall off in terms of chances created and things of that nature. I don't know, but I mean, I even go back to I had a thought the other day, and if you guys remember, it was 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I want to say, and we were beating teams. Granted, the likes of West Ham and Sheffield United, Burnley might have been in that mix, and we were hanging 6 goals on these teams a game. We were scoring goals for fun, and it was whatever So this is Declan Rice's 4th year here, so it was his first year because he scored. He scored an absolute blistering goal against West Ham, and he didn't celebrate because it was his first year not playing for West Ham. But where are those days at? And this idea that, well, teams don't come to play us. Teams are just going to sit in their low block, so we're not going to do that. Why aren't we? My question, if I could put Arteta sitting here right now, and his answer to me would be, well, this is what the other team does. So we're just not going to score goals like that because figure it out. I'm not saying to go out and score 6 goals a game. I'm not saying that. But this team on paper is ultra talented. It is the best collection of talent in the world. Figure out breaking down that low block. He had no answer yesterday for Pep. None. He didn't know what to do. And yet, in the technical area, he is still barking at his players. What are you saying to them?
I disagree.
Because nothing that you said made a difference at all. At no point did that game turn around and we look, oh, wait, we figured it out. Granted, it's 80 minutes, but we figured it out. We know what we're doing. No, we didn't. There were a few moments of
didn't look great.
There were a few moments of brilliance from Calafiori. That was it. The actual attackers in the team don't know what to do. I'm stopping short of saying Arteta out because I'm not.
I don't think. It's not that we didn't have an answer for Pep. It's not that we didn't have an answer for Pep. I just think Pep had an answer for us, and we couldn't counterattack.
But he made an adjustment. He made an adjustment at halftime.
Yeah, we didn't.
Okay, so what is it? So you just give up for the 45? He made his adjustment at halftime.
I'm not defending.
Okay. Well, I'm not defending
Arteta. You're saying that we didn't have an answer for Pep. I don't think it was that. I think it was I think we had a great plan in place, but we didn't have the players. And on top of us not having the players, Pep figured it out, and Pep was like, "Oh, this is what they're doing. Cool. I'm gonna change up what we're doing."
But he
and they did, and we were.
He didn't try anything different. There was no difference.
Ooh, Pep or Arteta?
Arteta.
Because like you said earlier, they did the horseshoe of death to us, and then we're like, okay, cool, we're not gonna do anything, and then our goalie concedes a goal.
Passes together. Because
that's not the game we were playing.
He wants to keep playing the same fucking way. He only knows 2 things. He knows 2 ways of playing.
We don't play long ball.
It's play wide or it's play long balls over the top. That's it. There's nothing else. Because there are no ball carriers in this team. There are no players in this team that have the technical quality on the ball that players.
Leo Trossard is our ball carrier, and he's not good enough. Leo Trossard, and he's not good enough.
Okay, there
We have
aren't.
no. We have no.
Where's a ball
on-ball-
carrier in the midfield?
What?
Where's a ball carrier in the midfield?
Yeah.
I don't think our ball it
We don't
didn't make
play-
it to our midfield
But we
in
don't
order
play
for
through
them
the
to
middle.
carry the ball.
When have we ever played through the middle? So why do we need a ball carrier in the midfield if we don't play through the middle? We
To
play out
have
wide.
another option.
But we've
disagree.
never played through the middle.
I feel like we played to the middle I played through the middle through our goalkeeper, our back line, and our midfielder. Normally Zubimendi and
yeah, and I meant like half field.
and the attack. Okay,
in
sorry.
our back, yeah, obviously.
But you know, like Charles came in and mentioned it too. Lee was saying that like our midfielders weren't moving. It's something I brought up a little earlier. You know, he did point this out, and it didn't register. And maybe I'm being a little less harsh on Gabriel and Saliba because I could remember so many defensive plays that they had. But they do have a tendency of when things are going good, they can ping a nice pass forward. We didn't see a lot of long passes for them. I don't know if it was instructed, but their passing map. Ours, as far as Gabriel and Saliba, we have seen them made line breaking passes in the past, but I don't know, dude. Like it literally, it's like we were stunned. And what kills me, Ryan, personally, is that we didn't get stunned after the goal. We got stunned with whatever tactical shift City made, and then we were just stuck on stupid. Yeah. Slightly sympathetic. I mean, you know, I'm reaching here. If you want to be like uber positive, I'm not. You know, I'm down about it, and I generally, guys, as you guys, this is no shocker to most supporters. It's a cup, and I don't disrespect cups, and I wanted to win the cup, but I'd be sitting here lying to you if I told you I'm as devastated as like a semifinal Champions League knockout, you know, or you know, FA Cup final. You know, for obvious reasons, there's, you know, I think there's levels to it, right? But if I'm reaching and trying to be uber positive, just for the sake of the balance of the conversation, so it's not one big pile on, is Arteta reacted after the goal, and that it really sucks that it was after the first goal, right? But literally, he's chatting, having a conversation with Martinelli, Madueke, I think, and then the second goal happens. Like, there's actually a pretty funny clip, funny in hindsight, guys, where Madueke and Arteta are like right there at the touchline, and Madueke leans over because he's going to ask him a question. And then the second goal comes in, and Arteta's like, he just walks away to chat like some other shit because like he's so frustrated. And I, you know, again, in hindsight, it's a little funny, but Madueke was kind of left hanging, waiting for a conversation. So he was going to react to the goal as the second goal came in so fast. But for me, yeah, like you had, what was it, 30 to 40 minutes of play to react prior to their first goal. And you could say the first goal was a fluke all you want, but there was not one team that looked like they were going to ever do anything other than Manchester City for the last 15, 20 of the first half and the entirety up into the goal. And they saw it out. Like we threw caution to the wind, and you know we put Martinelli in there, we put Madueke, Gabriel Jesus out for Ben White, and it's still with all those attacking players. City was like, "It's all good, bro. Like we're not stressing." At no point in time did I feel like, "Oh man, tension is really, you know, the heat's really going up on City." Like I never felt that myself. I think we had one header, I believe that hit target. Outside of that, man, we were pretty irrelevant. It was a deflating loss. That's the best way I could describe it. It was deflating, and I hope, you know, not pom rah we're gonna be good, but I hope tactically they figure out what the fuck went wrong, because I think that's more important. Which is, by the way, sideswipe the OG. Who's the OG? This guy's the real OG. This is the OG Ryan. The other Ryan, the real Ryan.
Other Ryan's the real Ryan.
Him and I were going back and forth on. We just saw on March Madness, where a manager, she approached her player, and you know she's like screaming in her face, giving her a pep talk, you know, just kind of jazzing up, getting fucking ready, and like some people criticized it, some people saying that, hey, if you've done, elite sport, you'll understand that sometimes those type of conversations had to be had. And I just found it interesting. Where like, I am a believer that if you're a professional athlete of any kind, you shouldn't have to have the rah conversation like, let's go get them, animals, you guys are fucking killers, I need to be ready and win. And I feel like, I don't know, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think Victor Jokic needs a fucking pep talk. If you motherfuckers can't get up for a final versus City, I mean, I feel like something's fundamentally wrong with like the psychology. That's just, I think my rebuttal to him was, my rebuttal was, I don't think Kobe ever got this type of pep talk. No. And insert great player there, right? Like those motherfuckers would kill their teammates. And I'm going to go really old school here, where you hear conversations of the old locker room where they like will grab a new guy, put him up against a locker and say, listen, motherfucker, we don't lose against this team. Just these are our standards. And like, I like to believe that every pro athlete's like that. I mean, you got the Grealishes of the world that are party animals, and Ronaldinho threw away like fucking 5 to 10 years of his career, right? Because he likes club and boozing. But I feel like a professional team of a group of athletes should not have to rely on that. I love that. Like BX Schooner, Kobe would call everyone a bunch of weak bitches. 100%, bro.
So I'll push back and disagree a little bit, only in the fact that you're right. I don't think Kobe needed a rah-rah speech, because I think Kobe was the one giving the rah-rah speech. And I think before a game, you don't need a rah-rah speech, but I think still you need to like wake up the neurons and have the neurons start firing. You need to like get like, what's the word? I'm like missing the word here. You need to like I think these athletes understand the game they're playing, but you still want to hear it. You still want to like, I almost like it feels
something about getting fired.
Yeah, like you just want it's just, and I'm not saying that's what you needed at halftime, and I don't think that's necessarily what the talk was, but I do think like you do need to be kind of like, all right, guys, like I genuinely believe Pep at halftime was like, dude, look how nervous this team is. Like they need this trophy more than we do. They have a lot more riding on this. They have a lot more to lose. Let's just go out there and just play football. Like it's not hard. They have a Chelsea rejected net who can't catch the ball. But I mean, I genuinely think that I think Pep's have, and I spoke about this earlier, but I think it's not about, what did Arteta say? I think it's what did Pep say? Because I think Pep's locker room conversation was tactical for sure. Oh, we figured it out. This is how we're gonna stop them. We're not gonna let them play long ball up the wings anymore. Their goalie's not doing it. We can't, we gotta like kind of suffocate Saliba and Gabriel, which they did. They pinned him back. They didn't press him, but they pinned him back. And that allowed us not to really play long balls up the sides anymore. We couldn't play through the middle, which again, at that point they kind of just had our number and they were all over us. But again, like you have that talk with your team, and then you'd be like, yeah, this isn't going to be a hard 45 minutes, guys. They have a lot riding on this. They're nervous. Like, let's just play. Let's just play the football that won us 5 Carabao Cups, which I just
19 trophies in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just do that, And I think given the context and given the moment of the fact that like, hey guys, we're 45 minutes away from winning a trophy, I think that does excite you, because had this been a regular Premier League game, it's like, all right, just another game. It's just another like game on the calendar, not a big deal. But like, no, you're gonna win medals, you're gonna lift a trophy, you're gonna have a celebration, and talk all you want about the Carabao Cup. And I know, Mike, you said you care more about FA Cup than League Cup. I don't. I care more about this cup, because this sets the tone. This is the first major trophy that we were going to compete for. This is a tone setter. This would have set the tone for the Southampton fixture. This would have set the tone for the Sporting fixture. This would have set the tone for April 19th when we're at the Etihad trying to win a bigger trophy, yeah, but a trophy nonetheless. I think we had a lot riding on it, and City knew that, and they big brothered us, and they were like, "Oh, really? This game, this little trophy means so much to you. We don't even care." And they just played with more freedom than we did. And you could say like, "Oh, because that's Arteta doesn't let us play with freedom," which I don't disagree with.
I mean,
But
I think when you look at both managers in general, and you watch their demeanor in the technical area, it doesn't matter what game it is. Pep does show emotion. He's not. You brought up March Madness, Mike, and funny enough, the game in which you're referencing was being played at the same time that we were playing City yesterday. It was the Maryland and North Carolina women.
We needed her screaming at.
Yeah, right. But in the men's March Madness, St. John's and Kansas played the other day, and St. John's hit a buzzer beater to win the game by 2 points. And Rick Pitino, the head coach of St. John's,
cold as ice, baby,
showed zero. You would not have known what happened if you were solely watching Rick Pitino and not the game, and you had it muted. You would not have known what just happened if the only thing you saw was Rick Pitino. You wouldn't have known that St. John's just continued their season and ended Kansas's season. You wouldn't have known it. And more often than not, when you see Pep on the touchline, he's not even on the touchline. He's sitting in his chair, legs crossed, arms folded, watching. Does Arteta sit down during a game? No. Very rarely.
Yeah,
if at all. And so here's the difference.
He does.
And so here's the difference. Pep trusts that he has made his instructions explicitly clear, that his coaching staff have done their job in training, getting the players ready to go for said game. And then he can sit back and watch the results of his creation. He's like God on the seventh day. He relaxed. He sat back. He just looked over his kingdom and said, "Good job. Well done. I'm pleased with what I have created." Arteta, complete opposite. Complete opposite. He doesn't trust his players because he's constantly yelling at them. So one can only assume that they are always doing something wrong because he's always yelling at them to do something else. Always. I don't know how he has a voice.
How do you know
don't
that?
know how he has a voice.
How do you know that he's yelling at them to do something different and not just yelling?
So is he yelling at them?
But I'm just saying, it could be just loud.
constantly
Players
yelling.
can't hear him.
He's in the reverse Chelsea. He's disrespecting the ball. Every time the ball passes him by, he's cursing at the ball.
Yeah. It just every time you see him, he's yelling, he's gesticulating. So it's
Maybe
either
it's loud.
So it's either
Maybe it's loud.
Comment right there, backing you up. Like Arteta imposes his anxiety on the players a lot by
that's the point I'm getting to, is that
I don't
the
disagree. I
lack
disagree
of
with that.
would you
Then
rather
why are we first place in the Premier League?
Would you rather why didn't we win the League Cup?
Wait. I know
because Arteta was
screaming. I've been on Twitter today. And the only reason we're winning is because literally 19 other teams, including the one that just humiliated us, are shit. That's the only reason we're in the league. I know the answer. I've been on Twitter on today. It's the only reason anybody ever wins the league.
Mike.
Yeah. Did I get it right?
You win. You win a cookie.
Yes.
I
agree. I don't think it's anxiety because of the players, but that's not what I don't agree with that. I agree with what Stan said, but I don't agree that he imposes his anxiety. No, I think the difference between Pep and Arteta.
Would you rather play for? You've played this game in an organized fashion before? Would you rather play for a coach that is constantly yelling at you, or a teammate who probably can't even hear him? Let's be honest. If you're on the other side of the pitch, you probably can't even hear what he's yelling. Or would you rather play for a coach that gives you instruction and then here and there, if he sees something, he jumps up. He's like, whoa, hey, do this instead. Do that. But it's 90 plus minutes of Arteta yelling and gesticulating. I don't ever remember seeing a game where he is sat down. Even a game that we might be winning 4 or 5-0, and he's still standing there yelling.
They panned to him talking to Hines like 3 times yesterday.
When the ball is out of play.
But you just said he's screaming for 90 minutes. The ball's not in play for 90 minutes.
Okay. Oh my God. So now what you want to do? Now what you want to do is you just want to take it literally. But here's the thing: he's not done talking.
I don't know if you're fucking with him or not, Ryan, because that's hilarious.
Oh, he's not fucking with me. I promise you, he's not fucking with me.
No, I was a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. He does sit down. They've panned to him multiple times. Now it's funny you bring Pep is always sitting down. That's bullshit too.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You said he's always sitting down, and then occasionally he gets up.
What I said was,
what did you say?
Pep is sitting in his chair, legs crossed, arms folded, unless he sees something that he doesn't like, and then he.
And that's not true. There's been games, and it was all over the internet when it happened. I think it was Champions League, where he had scratches all over his face because he couldn't deal with what was going on, the way his team was playing. He was gnawing and scratching his face, and his face was like he had cuts and he was bleeding, and the guy had to ask what was going on. He goes, "Oh, this game is very stressful." So yeah, I'd rather have a manager screaming at me for 90 minutes than a manager who I see post game has scratches on his face because he's so stressed out about the game we're playing. I'd rather have Arteta.
Then you and I are just completely different.
You want a manager with scratches on his face after the game? Oh, did we play good, coach? He's bleeding from his eyes. Yeah, you guys were all right.
I don't care. That's not my problem. Guess who isn't bleeding from his fucking eyes?
Oh my God, that's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Okay, whatever. That's how you believe. But real quick, what I was gonna say was that I think a big difference fundamentally between Pep and Arteta is Pep, the way he sets up. And this could be on the players too. Pep gives freedom to the attackers. He goes, do what you guys want to do, play the way you want to play. Semenyo, Doku, Holland will be there to put the ball in the back of the net. He'll finish it. And Cherokee can create. There's a lot of moving pieces. They play with a lot of freedom in attack, and I think that's why you see him sitting down most of the time. Problem is that leads to their defense, the defense not playing as well, and then being susceptible to a lot of attacks, which again I thought we were going to do. We didn't, but there's been many teams that have done it. They fucking tied West Ham, they tied Nottingham Forest, so they're obviously not perfect. And then the difference and then the way Arteta plays, he's frantic because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want freedom in the attack because he knows we'll be susceptible in the back. Because where I agree, you obviously need to score, but I do think a good base is defense. And I think if you have a strong defense, I think you're going to go far. And I think he wants to play within the fine margins and say, hey, we're the better team. We have the best defense in the world, which I think we do. So I think it's going to be up to you guys to stop us. You have to figure us out because you're not scoring on us. And we're going to find a way, whether it's a corner kick, free kick. Maybe Manueki will get us a late penalty. Who knows? But we're going to find a way. And I know that can be frustrating and boring. It is. It's very frustrating and boring to me sometimes. So, but I just want to win, especially now. I put so much energy and money into this team. I want something to show for it. I want to win something. But to say Pep isn't crazy and anxiety ridden is couldn't be further from the truth. Now, is he screaming for 90 minutes? No, he's not. But I wouldn't rather have. I'm not saying I'd rather have Arteta. This is really not me not answering the question, but I'm not saying I definitely wouldn't rather have Pep over Arteta. I definitely wouldn't have that. But then again, I absolutely wouldn't want someone screaming at me for 90 minutes either. So, yeah.
So you wouldn't want somebody screaming at you for 90 minutes?
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't want Pep. If my other option's Pep, I'm not taking Pep.
I mean, you would rather. We don't need to go back and forth on it. The idea of scratching out his eyeballs because he's so frustrated.
I didn't say eyeballs. Did you not? Do you not remember that? It was all over the internet.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, the scratches. The memes were absolutely awesome.
I don't.
Scratches all over his head.
More.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I'm not.
Honestly,
I mean, I just.
It was a
I
Champions
just
League
don't.
game, I believe, Ryan. Is that you're referring to?
It was what?
I think it was Champions League game in which
It
it happened.
was. It was.
Yeah, I remember what you're saying. Food for thought, and this is just like I will say that this is the most recent game that we have in memory, and so it's deflating, and it's really easy to be like, that's exactly what's going to happen the next game. I do, just for, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here for the sake of conversation. We did the exact same thing to City at Arsenal at Emirates. We didn't manage to score. We didn't manage to score the lucky goal, but we absolutely dominated them. Our supporters said, a lot of our supporters said, well, City went to the Emirates to bunker down, and even, depending on how much you value or agree, or let me rephrase that, how much you believe the things Pep said. Pep just said they were better. Sometimes the team makes you play a certain way. So he gave the clearest indication that their intention wasn't to go to the Emirates and get locked down and not be able to get the ball past their half. It just simply played out that way. So I find it fascinating. I'm like, look, the season's not over. Obviously, there's a lot more stuff to play. But I do think it's like, I don't think that this performance is going to be a cookie cutter and we're going to see the exact same thing in a few weeks. I think football, just by changing 3 to 4 players on each team, I think you have a drastically different game too, right? It's not, nothing is ever the same as the last one. It's never that simple where you could just see it and be like, oh, because we had this result against this team, this is going to be the exact way we're going to play in the next one. So interesting to see how it plays out. I'm confident. I'm probably confident because of the lead. It's well documented on Twitter. It's well documented on this podcast. And I'm extraordinarily bitter that our lead isn't higher at this stage, because I do think that we fumbled along the way. Those of you that are a little bit more sympathetic with the drop points versus like Brentford or Chelsea, whoever the shit it was, Wolves, maybe you guys could say, well, that was just the league being the league, because it's a difficult league. And that is factually true. It is probably bar for bar, team for team, the highest quality league in the world, I would say. Every other league, it's more of a, you got 2 good in form and then everybody else kind of falls 20 points after them. So it's an interesting one. But this one, you see the most mid-table teams beating or taking points off top 4 teams. And in the other leagues, it's more, even if there's breaking away in this league, there's 2 teams that are breaking away from it. There's never an expectation of as easy win, and the total of the points end up being like 70, 80, right? And then like Serie A right now, like Inter's running away with it, and like they've lost a good amount of games, but like it's still one of those things where nobody expects them to lose. There's your flowers, by the way, Ryan.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier today, Mike, and it's like, boy, we look at the bottom teams in this league, and one of whom will most likely be in the bottom come the end of it. And they're like, we look at them and we're like, they're so bad. They're really bad. On the season prediction show that we did, I believe I said something to the effect of, and I owe somebody something. I know that I got to go back and watch, but I owe Ryan, it might be you, that I owe something to, because I bet somebody that Wolves would not come out of the basement, that Wolves at no point this season would rise above 20th. They did for 1 week. They were level on points with West Ham and then went above West Ham on goal difference. And then they went right back down again. But yeah, so I owe somebody something, because I said Wolves would not come above 20th at all. Point being, we look at some of those teams, we say how bad they really are. But at any point this season, to your point, Mike, Wolves can rise up and draw us, the league leaders, at home. They can beat the defending champs at home. Brighton, a mid-table team, just beat Liverpool. Everton, plucky little Everton. In the same season prediction show, I did say that Everton would be the surprise club of this season, and I think they are. And I also said it about Sunderland. But Everton can beat Chelsea 3-0. Who had that on their bingo card? Not to say that Chelsea are this world beating, world dominant team, but there's Everton came to us and gave us fits for 80 minutes. So it's there in this league that there are two really good teams, Mike, like you just said, that just kind of run away and hide from everybody else. But the rest of the league it's full of parity, and they're not. And these teams that are at the bottom that are just really so bad in terms of points and goals scored, goal difference, all of it can have a day and rise up and slay a dragon, here and there. It's crazy to think that. And I don't know that that's happening in any other league across Europe, and I don't really watch any other league across Europe, so I can't speak intelligently on it. But it is just to Mike's point, like kind of crazy to think that one of the worst Premier League teams in history, two of the teams that they've gotten a result against this year, the league leaders, the current league leaders, and the defending league champs. It's crazy to think that Forest going to City, nicking a draw at City, and then City go to West Ham. I mean, it's there. What'd you say, Ryan?
No, I said what you just said. City drawing against West Ham.
Yeah, and West Ham too. Shout out to former Arsenal defender Konstantinos Mavropanos for leveling that game. That was fantastic.
So disappointed they didn't win this. I mean, after Forest did that. By the way, just again, and this is my favorite fucking hobby horse, and it's mostly because like Twitter's being ruined by media personalities that want attention and blue check marks. But out of all the stupid shit that I read, like the fact that Spurs put out a hype video and held a parade for a relegation battle at home and ultimately got 3-0, I don't think they're laughed at enough. And the fact that, Liverpool, defending champion, that now is statistically speaking, this is factual. This isn't, oh my God, City's the worst or this. No, this is actual factual by numbers. The worst fucking title defense after spending $500 million in the summer. And like, they're pretty chill, man. Like literally Spurs is a team that the media portrayed to be the new team in the top 6 that was replacing us, who held a parade for a relegation battle that they lost. And we're getting bantered more or criticized more for losing versus a team that bought 13 players in the last 2 summers into January. Like nothing. Like no other fucking team. And sometimes I think the whole 1-1-5 thing is so fucking old that they've almost normalized it. But who the fuck just like, oh, we have injuries. It's all good. We'll just buy these fucking players. No big deal. Like no other team operates like that in the fucking world. Anyways, I digress on that. If anything, after seeing what Chelsea, I'm going to say didn't get, I have like zero fucking hope there's going to be any actual repercussion for City. But I've said this many times. That's just kind of the world we live in. So I think they'll escape pretty. They'll be allowed to buy another 15 players, and then they're going to hand them a transfer ban or some shit.
Right. Yeah. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to buy any players. In August of this year, they'll hand down a punishment to City that they're not allowed to buy any players in the summer of 2025.
Yeah,
wait,
something like that.
You already did? Well, just don't buy any more in the summer of 2025. That'll be it. Anyway, I think we're at 2 hours. I think we've sufficiently covered everything we can cover on this. I am very, very, very cautiously optimistic. I am so much less optimistic about things than the two of you. Ryan, you brought me around on the importance of winning the League Cup if you're there. The idea that it's the first trophy you can possibly win, and kind of the negative mental effect that it can have if you don't win it. So I do kind of agree with you agree with you on that. And I hate to say it, I just think that I think it wrecks their confidence. And I think I'll just say this, and this will kind of be my final thought, and then I'll let you guys, if there's anything else you want to bring up, by all means. But I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. I'm afraid that, and one of you brought that, Ryan, I think you said it. I'm afraid that Arteta goes into an incredibly defensive shell now to basically just say we're going to wrap this up with defense, and he's going to be so risk averse to opening anything up now for the rest of the season to try and just see things out, almost like a game. Like, just nope. You know what? Let's play for the draw. Let's just play for the draw, and it won't work. We've got to win. But I'm just deathly afraid that he will do nothing but just park the bus the rest of the year and just say, you know what, I don't care if we score. It's if we just stop the other team from scoring, we're fine. And obviously,
but look where that's gotten us.
I don't know that we've really done that. I mean,
yeah, I think we have.
The first. I mean, we did it yesterday. Look where that got us.
We don't park the bus, but we definitely rely on our defense doing their job. And I still think we have the ball in the other team's final third a lot. So but yeah, I don't think we create enough, but we don't. I mean, we don't really need to. I guess in the context of the game, I guess yeah, you need to create something, but I don't know. City needs to get more points than us. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes you talk like we have to catch them. They have to catch us. We can draw. Obviously not draw out. I know that, but
well, I mean, if we could. I mean, if they did too, we could. I mean,
it's and a lot of times with especially now as the season winds down, you have teams like West Ham, Nottingham Forest. I don't think we play either of them, but
we play West Ham.
There's games where if we just hold defensively, solidified, not park the bus, it's completely different from what I'm saying. Teams will eventually run at us and give us those passing lanes, give us those holes, and we'll be like, all right, cool, see you later. And we do score, or we create corners and we score from them. It's just not as, I don't think it's as cut as dry as what you're saying, but and there's nothing wrong with it though. I don't think
you play to win the game.
I don't think we've only lost 4 games all season. So, I mean, I don't think what we're doing is wrong or bad. I mean, in the context of the game yesterday, yeah, but again, I think it's a mix of nerves, wrong tactics, wrong starting 11.
The only saving grace to me and what you're saying is if we park the bus against most of our remaining.
We don't park the bus. I don't think we're ever going to park the bus.
If we just sit in this shell and all we're worried about is dominating possession, and we don't really go after trying to score, let's just hoop the ball around because the other team sits in the low block and he doesn't know what to do. He can't figure out how to break down a low block. Okay, he can't. Okay, tell me he can. Tell me he can, and then give me an example.
I just laugh that we do what City do, and yet what we do is wrong. And we can't break a low block.
But City have so much technical quality on the ball that they can do the same thing we do, but they have the technical quality on the ball to do it and do it better. And so the saving grace to all of this is,
I don't think it was better yesterday.
What's that?
I don't think it was that much better yesterday. We had a goalie cough up the ball and essentially throw the ball into the own net. But
City
it wasn't Kepa's fault.
City had 80% possession of the ball.
Yeah.
From the 40th minute of the first half until they scored.
I know.
80% possession. And then they
didn't score. Crazy, right?
And then they scored.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't score for 20 minutes, is what I'm saying. Because again, we threw the ball into our own net. It's us shooting ourselves in the foot every time.
Oh my God!
You don't think so?
So City didn't win the game. We lost it. Ryan, we could still be playing that football game from yesterday, and we still would not have scored.
No, I disagree.
You're out of your mind. What did you see?
Here.
What
That's
did
fine,
you see
you
yesterday?
can.
What did you see yesterday that gives you hope to think that we would have scored in that game?
If we're still again,
If we
I don't
played
want
long enough, Odegaard and Eze might come back from injury.
Yeah, thank you.
And they could change the rules, and Arteta still wouldn't sub them on.
I think Calafiori really showed that we should have played him. I'm not saying he would have scored, but he gave us chances that we didn't have in the entirety of him not playing. I think you're
at. I mean, okay, the other team is playing too, and there's a time limit.
Yeah.
So
you just said if we were still playing again, you make these absurd comments. I answer your absurd comments like, "Oh, you took me seriously?" Yeah, because you made a fucking dumbass comment. You make an absurd comment, I answered it.
So
we were still playing.
So this is more a law of averages thing. That if this game were still going on some 36 hours later, that we would have scored. Is what you're saying. You're relying on the law of averages.
Literally, don't make the comment then. That's a stupid comment to make.
It's not a stupid comment to make because I don't think if we were still playing right now that we would have scored.
Okay, whatever. That's stupid. All right, I'm cool.
I don't understand why it's a stupid comment.
Because we would have scored.
Because you disagree with it, so it's stupid.
What?
So you disagree with it, so it's a stupid comment.
No, because I said we would have scored. You called me crazy, and then I'm like, well, 36 hours we would have scored. And you're like, oh well, you act like I took you seriously. What's like, well, yeah, you made the comment. So yeah,
I'm not. I don't understand what it is that you saw other than two plays from Calafiori that make you think. And it wasn't close. He did well, but they weren't particularly great chances. He did more than anybody else on the team did, and that's not saying much.
I don't. This is like a dumb argument. Like, yeah, if we played 36 hours, like it's a stupid argument.
I just don't understand what it is.
I disagree. That's all. That's all.
I don't know what you saw that makes you think that we would have scored in that game.
Okay, that's fine.
Your answer was Calafiori, and
I was just saying how we played a lot better when Calafiori was on the pitch.
Calafiori played a lot better than anybody else.
No, I think we played better. But he still was the best player.
Ryan, go ahead. Or Ryan, Mike, go ahead.
I was gonna say if I had the ability, I was gonna mute you guys right now, but I didn't have the ability. To answer the 7-7, Ryan, would you be happy if we lost 5-0 and we were better on XG? Look, not 5-0, but I think we have been at the end of a loss in which I was really frustrated, and Ryan was like, "We dominated."
I'm confused how I'm totally positive. I
don't necessarily agree with that. I put it up there to kind of rile you up, but I don't think you're toxically positive.
I do. I'm so pissed about this game. The goal scoring comment was just to piss Tanner off and argue with him. It's stupid argument. But I'm not I'm furious about yesterday. Like, I think this was, again, I care more about this Carabao Cup game than I would if we were in the finals of the FA Cup. So us not winning this,
that's a pretty insane conversation, dude. Because a lot of people would see this as definitely the lower tier cup. But a good mate of mine pointed out
you gotta set the tone, Mike. We haven't won shit. This would be the game.
That's a great point. We're and I've said this before, right? Right.
If we were City winning what was the stat, Tanner? 19 trophies in 10 years. If that was us, then I would say, yeah, fuck this game, fuck the Carabao Cup. I don't give a fuck. But we haven't won anything. We won what? We under Arteta, we won one FA Cup.
We're not big enough to dismiss it. Our recent history, you can make the argument that we're not big enough to dismiss it. Yeah, a good mate of mine said, this is one of those things where, if you don't go out in the second round, win it, because you know what I mean? Because you could dismiss it in the second round and say, fuck yeah, we have so many less games. But you make it to the final, you just you're in the final. Yeah, go with it. Yeah. So, this is going to be one of those bounce backs, man. Just my closing one, this is a little pet peeve of mine that I'm finding with Mikel Arteta. I find this very frustrating. This kind of goes on the conversation that you guys were having. I think what Tanner was saying is that essentially City and Arsenal kind of play similar because they face a lot of low blocks, but I think what Tanner is saying is that City has players for the most part that, at least in the past, maybe this season a little bit more shaky. They're incredibly efficient. And so the few times that they're able to create whatever 2xG, that's most likely going to end up in like at least one goal. We consistently finish the game with 2+ xG, and we're lucky if it's a one goal game. And I think we're just not as efficient as we would like to be. The conversation that I was going to bring up completely slipped my head, so I'm just going to keep on talking about XG for the sound beat. Yeah, it was right there, bro. It was right there. and I had a nap too. I had no fucking excuse for this, for this slipping my mind.
There's that nap thing again, Ryan.
Yeah, nap. Hey, we tune in to nap. Yeah. I think that's where you guys were coming from. That's I'll end it right there, because I can't come up with a clear, concise idea of what the shit I was going to actually close the podcast with.
That's fine. I'll close for you, and I'll close for me. So I have 2 last words. Okay. First last word.
Thank you.
We have no on the ball personnel. We talked about that ad nauseum. We need another Saka, because our Saka that we have is not clicking, and you could relate it to many things. You know, his new engagement, his pay raise, him preserving himself for the World Cup. I don't know. I think it could be all of those things. But we need, and some people, okay, I can give you half a word, Mike. We do need, like, I don't want to say a plan B, because I disagree with you. I think we do have a plan B. I don't think it's good, but I think we have a plan B. We need another Saka. We need a player with personality, with flair. We need a player that we can, I don't want to say necessarily build around, but a player that we can focus on. Now, we're very right side dominant, because Saka's just not it. He's not doing it. And yeah, Mike, write it down. And I don't know. I don't know what the deal with Saka is. It's tough, because a lot of people are talking about benching him.
Ryan, hang on. Mike, just put it in the private chat.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. I just think we need, and I guess kind of full circle closing my first final thought. Is
so you only get one, because Mike has his now.
So no. He's gonna go. No. I need to finish with Kepa, and then I'll be good. The only thing I'm gonna say is it's not about like us signing a striker, signing a 9 in the summer. We needed to sign goals. So it's not necessarily someone who's, I mean, and theoretically you relate like, okay, if the goals are going to come from your number 9, but the way we play football, the way Arteta plays us, we're a machine. We don't have a guy that's going to stand and be the center point of our attack and always like tap the ball in the back of the net. And it sucks, because that's what Gilchrist does, and that's just not how we play. So we need to sign goals, and we need to fix it, and that's something that will make us better, because I still think we can win trophies. I think we're going to win the league. I think we could definitely win the Champions League, just based on how we're playing and the players on our team. But just slight improvements for next summer. Yeah, Mike, go for it.
Yeah, we're just going to bring something up that.
Oh, really?
This the first time I've seen Arsenal do this, and it depends on where you're at, whether you're content or not content with the club right now. But our teams have been running on fumes. This is very, very like normal, and we could see it, right? We see Zubimendi being tired, Declan Rice being tired, et cetera, et cetera. The fact that we had so many fucking players pull out of their international competitions, guys, listen, I don't know if they might potentially really be injured, but for me, if this equates to the dark arch thing, I am absolutely for this, guys, because
I was say pissed. I was like, yeah, dude, this is good. This is good.
This shit so many times.
This is all good news.
Like,
yeah,
the Liverpool players don't go, the Manchester City players don't go, and there goes dumbass fucking Odegaard. Even when he's limping, hanging around with Norway, motherfucker, stay behind. You have a beautiful mansion in England. Stop it. Get some rest. And the fact that so many, and I got to tell you, because I chat with a Brazilian, a Brazilian not going.
Does your wife know this?
Yeah. A Brazilian not going is not being taken lightly. There's a pretty big account out there heavily criticizing Gabriel. But I will say this. I do think that there should be more limitations in the international teams and when they call up our players, or players just in general, because like the argument was being made is we're 2 months from the World Cup, and the manager in Brazil doesn't know his best starting 11. What? Like you're telling me like you're undecided on Gabriel, and that you have to see him play in 2 friendlies in order to make up your mind whether he's gonna fucking go to the World Cup. Like I do feel like some of these friendlies are very fucking redundant, and there's so much pressure for a player because it turns into I can't go because A, B, and C. Oh my God, you fucking traitor. You don't love our country. And then they feel obligated to go, and then they end up injured for 3-4 months, like the last time fucking Gabriel went to Brazil. And the players are just so overworked. So listen, again, I believe a lot of them are hurt because we're playing like a fucking shitty team that's running on fumes. Zubimendi has played the most football he has in his career, as has played more football than he has in his career. I don't know about Gyökeres; he played a whole lot, but it sure as fuck has to be more intense. But the majority of these players not going, for me, is a good thing, and I'm truly really fucking hopeful that this is like a massive push for us to just get our asses in gear, not in gear, but to regain some fitness and some freshness, because it shows, man. Like, I don't think I've seen Saka complete a fucking 20-yard run sprint in a while now. So just it's a good thing for the club to have done this, the players to have done this, whether it's intentional or not, I don't know, boys, but to me, it looks a little dark arc-ish, and I'm super fucking for it myself.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope it is dark arts and not actual injuries that I keep seeing pop up all over social media. But anyway, that's it for us. I don't know, a couple of weeks off, unless we figure out something we want to talk about next week. But then, yeah, we'll be back after Southampton is up next. FA Cup, I believe.
FA Cup.
And then Sporting, and then Bournemouth. So maybe we're back after Sporting. So maybe about a week and a half or so, somewhere in there. Or yeah, I guess it is 2 weeks. So, anywho, sorry, I saw the very beginning of this, so now I'm very curious. YouTube didn't like my last comment, so I'll rephrase it. It's a pity Dubai isn't available right now. Players could do with a week out. Yeah, amen to that. I'm very curious, Stan, as to what the comment was.
Yeah, I want you to message me the original content.
Yeah, right.
We need to know now, Stan.
Yeah. Anyway, if you've made it through 2 hours and 20 minutes of the show, thank you guys all very much. Make sure you're dropping a like on the video. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate that. Tell your friends. If you don't have any friends, tell a neighbor. If you don't have any of those either, I don't know, tell your family. Anyway, yep, we'll be back in a few weeks to officially begin, I guess, the run-in to the end of the season, and hopefully my pessimism speaks a little bit of reverse psychology into the universe, and it all works out. Hence the song that played at the Emirates when Eberechi Chiesa was introduced. Let it all work out. That's all for us. It's been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.